Okay, well, we're back. Now I have torn away all of my stabilizer from except right in here with my design. Now what I have done next is I have taken Quilter Select Apple Web Plus, and I've already ironed a section on, pulled the paper off, and I've now put the second section on. We're going to fuse that down, and we'll fuse it with our iron. And then I am going to remove the protective paper off the web. Now this web is amazing. It's just a free-form glue. And with the paper, you can draw on it, you can do anything, and you have the protection to iron on it for your web. So now this has got Apple Web Plus on the back of it. Now the reason I've done that is I'm going to center this within my backing fabric. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this, and I don't have to worry about this thing scooching around while I work the rest of it. And besides that, the other thing is that when this is fused to the back, it's a permanent fuse. And the nice thing about that is you won't have them coming apart. You won't have the top loose from the back, because I didn't want to put any batting in this. I like it just like it is. So without putting any batting in, that's the way we've done it. So I'm going to bring my ironing pad up here for just a moment so that I can go ahead and iron this down real nice to fuse to the back. And now that I've got this centered, I'm actually going to turn it over, and oh, don't you love how black picks up everything? I'm going to turn it over to the back, and with my iron, I am going to fuse this fabric onto the back, and we want to make sure that we have at least 2 inches all the way around. That's why we cut this 6 inches bigger. So that gives us an inch wiggle room all the way around for when we trim this down. So now, of course, I'm using my Laura Star pop-up to do this. I just love this iron. There we go. Wonderful, wonderful iron. So now I don't have to worry about that shifting on top of my backing. So we're going to put that aside. It is now fused to our main fabric. Move my ironing board. Don't tell anybody I own one. Okay, so now we're going to come in, and what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this 2 inches larger than my placemat. So we're going to go 2 inches around all 4 sides, and we're going to trim this up because I want an inch binding to come over the edge. And you'll see in just a moment what I'm talking about. So here I'm going to cut it 2 inches bigger. I've got that little inch wiggle room. There we go. And 2 inches on this side. Now that we've trimmed it, there we go. Now that I have trimmed this all up, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my ironing pad back up, because we are now going to fix this binding. Now with this fused to it, I don't have to worry about any scooch. I'm going to grab my pins, yes, dirty word pins, and let me go ahead and turn my machine on so when we get over here we'll be ready. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this raw edge to meet raw edge, and we're only going to do it on the long sides. So the long sides first. So I have folded this raw edge up to meet this raw edge. And when I get this up here, I'm going to press it all the way to the ends, but I'm just going to do only the long side. So the two long sides, so you can see I've pressed it 1 inch up. Now what we're going to do is we are going to turn it over and press it all the way. Now we're not turning the short ends under, just the long ones. So now I have pressed this up. So now I folded it raw edge to it, and then I have folded it over that 2nd inch. Okay, so you can see how we've done that. Now let me pin this and move down. I'm just keeping my iron, reminding it I'm working with it. Sometimes the iron likes to forget you're working with it. And time out. So I am going to again meet raw edge to raw edge. We're going to turn this in 1 inch. Raw edge to raw edge. And that also covers these edges if there was a little raggedy or anything on them. They're covered. And now I'm going to turn it in that 2nd inch. So there we go. So now I've got it in the 2nd inch. Very good. Now with this like this, we've got the 2 long edges, folded once, folded twice. And now I'm going to show you how to miter those corners perfect every single time. No matter what, they're perfect. Now with this here, real good here, I have not turned this at all. This is still the full 2 inches out. I am going to fold this over, but here's the trick. Right here, I want to fold this, but I don't want to pull it tight against this edge, because then when I come in here, I get a fold of fabric. So while I want this edge to be parallel with this edge, I need a hair gap in here for the fold to be able to fold right in here. I don't want to fold this fabric with it, because if I do that, then I no longer have a crisp point. What it does is it causes a buckle in your miter, and it doesn't look attractive. And you'll fiddle with it and fiddle with it. I'm promising you, this is like a piece of cake to do. If I can do these, you certainly can. So I'm going to iron this one. I'm going to do the same thing. Let me turn it this way. There we go. So this one's been ironed in. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Remember, we need this hair in here. While this has to be parallel, I need a little hair in there for my fold. So now I'm going to press this. And what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is I've got these here. I'm going to turn this in my inch, just like we did on the long sides. We're going to now press this in on the short side, and I'm going to pull it over. Look at that. Not even, I'm not doing anything, and look at what a perfect match that is. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Right here, ooh, perfect match. And you can see I did not struggle. I didn't do anything with these edges. They just, like magic. This is magic. I'm going to tell you, when I learned to do this, I'll tell you, this makes, it looks so elegant to have this fabric framed, and it's easier than putting on a binding with a backing. Again, we're going to leave this all the way out, turn this in, leaving your little space in here for that fold. Over here, leaving parallel, but leave that space for that fold over. And it's just a hair space. It's just enough for that to fold over the edge of the fabric. So like on this, I don't have much in here, but if I had batting, I'd move that back just a little bit, because when it folds up and over, we need it to have enough space so that we don't get that bubble. So here we go. We're folding in our 1st inch. Perfect, perfect. And look at this. I just flip it over. I didn't do anything. No wiggling, nothing. I got a perfect miter. Perfection. I love it. And let's fold this guy in. Perfect miter. Fold this guy in. Perfect, perfect. So now you can see we've got our beautiful frame, and this guy just doesn't want to stay in. Let me press him a little better. He does not want to stay down here. There we go. That probably shamed him. There we are. Okay, and there we are. So now we've tamed that little corner piece there. Kept coming out from my, where I folded at my first inch, I didn't press it well enough. So of course pressing is one of the keys. So now we are all pinned, we are all ready to go, and let's go ahead and now we are going to sew this down. Now of course you could sew it down, you could put in a decorative stitch. I'm going to just use an edge stitch foot and put a straight stitch on this, and it looks very nice. But if you were doing, you can do a decorative stitch, especially if you're doing, you know, fun placemats with some fun themes on them, you might want to use a decorative stitch. Okay, so I'm ready here. Let's go ahead and get this stitched down. And I have got my edge stitch foot. I've mentioned it. I think I probably mentioned it in my last month. This is like one of my favorite sewing feet that we have, is these edge stitch feet, because I can sew straight with them. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that edge, the fin, right against my fabric. Where's my little pointer? Right here, you've got a fin on this foot. In fact, let's look at that. I talk about an edge stitch foot, and you may not know exactly what one is. See how it's got like a fin on it right here? That little fin runs along the edge of your fabric. Then I move my needle position over as many stitches as far over in as I want. So let's put this back on. There we go. And let's set it down. And then I'm going to move my needle position over till that's just inside that edge. So there I go. And I'm going to sew this down. And I'm not Speedy Gonzales here. I'll go a little faster for you. But as you can see, I'm sewing just inside that edge, and my fin's against the edge. Pull this corner out, and be careful not to run your fin, force it, because it will run up on the fabric. Slow down as I'm coming in for the corner. Okay, got my little fin there. Can't see because it's all black. Here we go. Oh yeah, I'm fine. Okay, I just had to make sure I was fine. Go. Alrighty, there we are. get this little pin out. Just love this method. Such a great, I love these self-binding backings. Now I have to tell you the story. One of our other educators, Judy Fredenberg, she created one of our last projects. And she had said, well, I think we ought to do a self-binding backing. And I said, oh, that's a great idea. Sounds wonderful. Of course, then I had to go to YouTube and find out what one was because I had no idea. So with this, I saw it and like, this is amazing. I mean, I wish I'd known about it before because it's perfect every time. Judy has taught me so much about how to do these things. And look at that. What a beautiful, look at our mitered corners. They look absolutely fantastic. We have our beautiful round, and there we go. Now I've got 2 placemats with perfect placement. Now, splitting a design, it's fun. Make sure you start easy. Start on using your 4-inch hoop or your 5x7 frame. Don't go and automatically split something for 6 hoopings in your, 9.5 by 9.5. Go ahead and start small so you get the idea of lining everything up. You get successful. Then the sky is the limit. As long as you line that line up, that one line, you're going to be perfect every time. So thank you for coming to my Progressive Classroom number 14. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a lot of new stuff. And I look so forward to seeing you again next month in the Progressive Classroom. Have a wonderful month.